Capricorn. Welcome to your 2026 astrology horoscope and forecast. So, there's a lot to unpack for 2026, a lot of changes, and we have a new eclipse energy on the way this year as well. So, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to start off with the planetary changes, and then I'll get into the eclipses and your annual new moon and full moon in 2026. Let's start off with January the 26th, where we have Neptune that re-enters Aries. So you've already had a bit of a sneak peek to this energy because Neptune has already dipped its energy into your fourth house that rules over home, family, as well as your sense of security, stability, and sense of belonging. On January 26th, this energy will re-enter this area of life. And so will Saturn on February the 13th enter Aries and move into your fourth house. Now, these two energies, Neptune and Saturn, are very different. Very different, but when they come together, they create a whole nother meaning. Now, Neptune is known as the planet of dreams, creativity. It rules over sensitivity. It also has a lot to do with, when we look at the shadows, it can have a lot to do with illusions and things not being clear. It has a lot to do with escaping tendencies, whereas Saturn is the disciplinary. It's all about structure and discipline, responsibilities. Sometimes a shadow manifestation can be restrictions or delays, but overall this energy supports us to become more wiser and more responsible and mature. If you've been looking at the fourth house from rose-tinted glasses, or if there has been any type of illusion or things haven't been clear, or there's been a lack of clarity in this area of life, well, with Saturn and Neptune coming together, things will start to become really clear, and I mean crystal clear. You'll start to even perhaps put everything in perspective. This area of life may need to be reorganized or restructured, and there may be a lot of time spent. You may spend a lot of energy as well in this area of life, and with Saturn here, it's about taking this area of life more seriously. With a Capricorn dominant, typically their priorities involve achieving and accomplishing their goals. But because Saturn, your ruler, is in the fourth house, Saturn is asking for you to focus a lot of your energy and put in your time in this area of life. Saturn is also very karmic in nature, so any type of karma or even ancestral karma can be worked through with this transit. And you can also do a lot of spiritual healing as well with both Saturn and Neptune in the fourth house. Moving on, April the 25th, Uranus, the planet of innovation and change, enters Gemini. It will move back into the sixth house of your daily life, structure, habits, self-care, wellness, as well as work. There may be a change in your everyday life, a spontaneous change that is either very much needed or it just happens out of nowhere, where your everyday life, the way it's structured and your habits and your routine completely change, or you may feel like you need more independence or freedom, or a huge change at work as well, where you need to be more stimulated. There could also be some unpredictability here as well, but overall Uranus is also the enlightener, so it's here to also enlighten you through this area of life. But the priority here is, of course, taking care of yourself, mind, body, soul, spirit, as well as your work. June the 19th, Chiron, the wounded healer, enters Taurus. Now, when Chiron changes signs and houses, it helps us to navigate through insecurities, triggers, or wounds, and supports us to gain awareness and also do a lot of self-healing as well. Now, Chiron will be entering your fifth house, and this is very interesting because the fifth house is about fun. It's a house of joy. It's about fun, pleasure. It's about creativity, expression, romantic relationships as well. So with Chiron here, you may find yourself really reflecting on where perhaps you're lacking having fun. Are you someone who's just always serious and always has your guard up? And where is it that you need to kind of loosen up? You may realize that, in fact, you haven't had a balance of work and play, and perhaps you've been so work focused that you feel like you've kind of neglected the inner child. So the fifth house also being the inner child, you can do also a lot of inner child healing with Chiron in the fifth house, and also use your creativity and the way you express yourself as a medium for healing. So that is a very interesting transit, but it can support you in really in learning how to enjoy life, learning how to incorporate more fun into your life. It can help you also to express yourself through creativity, work on your confidence, and also you can also do a lot of inner child healing as well. June the 30th, Jupiter will enter Leo. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, and it will move into your 8th house. The 8th house rules over what you share known with others. This could be shared resources, finances. This could also be intimacy. You could also do a lot of deep spiritual transformation in the 8th house. With Jupiter here, Jupiter expands. So there could be some expansion between you and someone else, where if you share something with them, even when it comes to if you're in a relationship and you're trying to take a relationship to the next level, you're trying to get more closer, you're trying to bond on a much more deeper spiritual intimate level, this could support you in that. It can also support you in your spirituality. It could support you to do a lot of deep spiritual healing as well, but it has more of like a positive influence and a positive attitude towards the deep spiritual healing. Now, with Jupiter being in Leo, there could be a sense of pride involved here as well. There could also be a lot of generosity here as well. So you have to know your boundaries. Sometimes you can just, with Jupiter especially, just give because you just feel good, just because of the feeling. So with Jupiter, it requires a lot of reasoning and a lot of logic as well. It requires a lot of boundaries as well. Jupiter is also an amplifier. So if you already have planets in the 8th house, if Jupiter connects with them, it will amplify that energy. So that varies on what planets are already in your 8th house, or what other planets Jupiter is making aspects to. Moving on, July the 26th, the North Node enters Aquarius and the South Node enters Leo. So the North Node will join Pluto in your 2nd house of what you own, finances, resources, and material, as well as your self-worth. And then the South Node will join Jupiter, which is in Leo in the 8th house of shared finances, resources, intimacy, and deep spiritual transformation. So this is showing that your higher self wants you to really focus on building for yourself. Now, of course, that may feel like a life purpose for a lot of cap dominance, but this energy, especially with Pluto, it's asking to find a much more deeper understanding and build for yourself, not just in terms of the material, but also in terms of the spiritual as well. Okay, and there's a lot of focus on self-worth. Where are you finding your sense of self-worth? Is it through the mundane? Is it through the material? Or is it really based on who you are? Is it based on your values, your principles, your ethics? It's asking you to go much more deeper beyond just the material, just beyond more than the physical, and beyond just the mundane. With the South Node in the 8th house, the South Node shows the energy you're evolving and growing away from. This could have to do, now of course this is based on everyone's individual chart, but it could be based on either something profound you share with someone else, whether that's material resources, or whether that's a relationship, an intimacy, or if it's some type of karmic cycle that you've been either constantly bumping your head into, or finding yourself that you're repeating, or that you've either been working towards. This is showing that that's the energy now you're evolving and growing away from. And with Jupiter also in the 8th house, that could really support you in working on those karmic lessons from a more spiritual standpoint. Let's talk about the eclipses. So February the 17th, we've got a solar eclipse in Aquarius at 28 degrees. And this may be the first beginning stages of this journey of working towards on building for yourself, your sense of security, self-worth. And it's far beyond just the physical and the material. So we've got that solar eclipse on Aquarius 28. This could be a new beginning, a new cycle, a new chapter where a new opportunity or something spiritually even shifts and changes for you regarding second house matters. And then we have a solar eclipse in Leo at 20 degrees on August the 12th. So this is going to be impacting your 8th house, and because it's a solar eclipse and it's a south node solar eclipse, it could either be a new beginning or a new cycle, a new chapter, because of the solar eclipse influence, but then it can also have a lot to do with the past, as well as it could be an ending. It's a very open type of eclipse where anything goes. And with Jupiter's influence here as well, it could actually be very beneficial and positive as well. First of all, the sun loves being in Leo. It's at home in Leo. Then you got Jupiter, which also loves being in Leo. So these energies really amplify just more of a positive outcome, which could be associated with 8th house matters as well. And then we have a lunar eclipse in Virgo and Pisces, and these are the final eclipses. There's a lunar eclipse in Virgo at 12 degrees on March the 3rd, and that will be ending a cycle, ending a chapter in your 9th house of higher mind, wisdom, philosophies, what you believe in, as well as traveling. And then you have the final lunar eclipse in Pisces at 4 degrees. That's going to occur on August the 28th, which will be in your 3rd house, which is about your mind, how you think and process information, as well as communication in your daily environments and travels. So that's going to be an ending of a cycle. So you may feel something shifting, coming to an end, coming to a close. And then you have your new moon in Capricorn on January the 8th at 28 degrees. So those Caps that have planets in late Capricorn, this is very much more personal for you. I mean, it's a new moon in Capricorn, so it's your annual new moon. So every Capricorn will feel it, and it will be this new beginning, this new yearly cycle, new chapter, which is presenting you with just a lot of energy and drive, and also vitality, because the sun and moon will be together. But especially those that have late degrees of Capricorn in their chart, this is going to be more personal for you, and it can have a lot to do with you, your identity, life path, ambitions, goals, and purpose. And then you've got your full moon in Capricorn at 8 degrees on June the 29th. The sun will be in Cancer and the moon will be in Capricorn, and that's a time where there could be some significant transformation that occurs in your life. It could be connected with you, your identity, goals, ambitions, life path, and purpose, as well as relationships. Now, speaking of relationships, we've got Venus retrogrades happening in 2026 in the sign of Scorpio, and then it will also move into Libra. So it kicks off its retrograde cycle on October the 3rd, starting off in the sign of Scorpio, which will be impacting your 11th house. Now, because this is a Venus retrograde, this is very much connected to love and relationships, where some people can go through breakups or some relationship healing, whether you're single or not. But then also, because it's in your 11th house, this could be connected with relationships with friends, other people, acquaintances, your social network. There may be friends that either you have to kind of like separate from, or there may be changes in your friendships, or you're reevaluating your friendships. You're perhaps even looking at your self-worth or your values as well. And then when Venus moves into Libra, it will enter your 10th house, and that could be reassessing and reevaluating your career, goals, ambitions, aesthetics, creativity, as well as values as well, connected to career and goals. So it's a time of reflection, and it's very much connected with the heart. For some, like I said, it could be very relationship orientated, and of course it matters based on your other planets in your chart. We also have Mercury retrograde happening a couple of times this year, and they will be in the water signs, which means these retrogrades are going to be much more emotional, much more sentimental, and they're definitely going to be pulling some heartstrings. They will be in the sign of Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. So Mercury retrograde is also a time to pause, stop, kind of reflect, reanalyze, and redirect your energy. So, Capricorn, I'm wishing you all the best in the year of 2026. May all your goals and ambitions come into fruition. Let me know your big three. Let me know what you are looking forward to in the year of 2026. Leave a comment down below. If you want to listen to these episodes on the go, you can also listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Make sure to hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in your horoscope for January 2026. Take care.